"We've agreed you're out of the family," my mom wrote. "Don't come to any events." My sister hearted the message. I replied, "Thanks for confirming. I'll cancel all the auto payments." By 12:03 a.m., the chat turned into a wall of screaming texts and panic. I was so angry I could barely think straight. Not sad. Not shocked. Just pure cold rage. These people, my parents, my sister, were narcissists in the most textbook way. Everything I did for them, every sacrifice I made was expected. Never appreciated. They never once stopped to think about how much of my life I had given up just to keep theirs from falling apart. And now they were cutting me off? The message came in at 11:51 p.m. on a random Tuesday. I was brushing my teeth when my phone lit up. "We've agreed you're out of the family. Don't come to any events." My sister hearted it. Not a single explanation. Just that. Like it was some kind of official announcement from the royal court. I stood there staring at the screen, not even surprised, just furious. The kind of fury that feels like heat in your chest. I replied, "Thanks for confirming. I'll cancel all the auto payments." And I meant it. Every single one. They must have thought I was bluffing because the first few minutes were silent. Then at 12:03 a.m., the family group chat went insane. I sat on the edge of my bed watching the screen light up like a fire alarm. Texts pouring in. "What are you doing? This is insane. Don't touch anything until we talk. Are you seriously doing this right now?" They had no clue what they just triggered. Let me back up. My parents hit financial ruin about 6 years ago. Bankruptcy. Foreclosure warnings. Bill collectors calling at all hours. I was 26 and just starting to stabilize financially after years of grinding. And when they called crying, I stepped in. Quietly. No drama. I put the utilities in my name. I paid off the last $12,000 on the property tax so the house wouldn't get seized. I moved their car insurance under my policy because theirs had lapsed. I paid off their credit card debt because my mom said she couldn't sleep at night. They promised they'd pay me back. That was 5 years ago. And then came Kayla. The golden child. The one who apparently wasn't supposed to struggle like I did. I paid for her first 3 years at a private college, $18,000 a year, without ever getting so much as a birthday card from her. She didn't work. Didn't even pretend to be grateful. But every time tuition came due, I paid it. Because that's what family does, right? Then a few weeks ago, I told her I'd only be covering half of her final semester. She didn't say anything at first. Just said, "Okay," and hung up. The next day I got a group call from my parents. They were furious. How could I abandon her now? After everything? Didn't I realize how damaging it would be to stop midway? I told them I had other financial goals. Maybe a house, maybe starting a business, and I couldn't keep putting myself last. Their response? "You owe this family more than that." That sentence stuck with me. So I paid the half, $6,800, and told them it was the last time. Sent the receipt to the family chat and wrote, "This is it. I'm done." No one replied. For 10 days the chat was silent. Then came the message from my mom. "We've agreed you're out of the family." They really thought they could excommunicate me while living in the house I saved from auction. Driving the car I paid off. Streaming Netflix on the Wi-Fi I paid for. They thought they could keep all the benefits of me while stripping away the title of family. So I stripped away the benefits. I logged into every account. Cut the utilities. Removed them from my car insurance. Canceled their phone plan. Killed the internet. Notified the county I was no longer paying the taxes. I even disabled the gas card they used to fill up their tanks. Every safety net. Gone. By morning I had missed 17 calls. 3 voicemails. One from my dad, nearly unintelligible. One from Kayla sobbing. One from my mom demanding I undo whatever psychotic thing I had done before they were ruined. I ignored all of it. Took the day off work. Got a coffee. Sat in silence. They wanted to teach me a lesson? I had a few of my own to teach. And this was just the beginning. By the next morning, they'd realized what I meant when I said cancel all the auto payments. I didn't answer any of their calls. I let the voicemails pile up. I didn't care how urgent they sounded. They could scream into the void for all I cared. They had no idea how much I'd actually done for them over the years, because I never kept score. But now, I started adding it all up. The bills, the debt repayments, the tuition, the tax payments, the repairs on the house, the groceries I'd ordered when they claimed they had nothing to eat. The quiet Venmo transfers I'd sent Kayla when she wanted just $200 for textbooks, but posted Instagram stories from music festivals the same weekend. I sat down with a spreadsheet and itemized every single one of them. Receipts, bank transfers, emails, statements, everything. I wasn't just cutting them off. I was taking it all back. That night I sent a PDF file to my parents' email. Subject line, Final notice, outstanding balances. It was cold, legal sounding, a little corporate on purpose. It outlined every dollar they owed me, nearly $134,000, broken down by year. Tuition payments, mortgage support, auto maintenance, groceries, insurance. Every line had a note, a date, and a total. I included a note at the bottom. This is not a request. You have 30 days to initiate a repayment plan before I proceed with legal action. This email serves as formal notice. I also CC'd an attorney. Not a bluff. My friend Julia works in family law and owed me a favor. She helped me draft the exact language I'd need to make it legally binding. 5 minutes after I hit send, I got a call from Kayla. Declined. Then a text. What is wrong with you? Are you seriously suing your own parents? I didn't answer. I just watched as the panic spread. My dad emailed me a reply that started with, "Let's be reasonable," and ended with him trying to emotionally manipulate me into forgetting everything for the sake of family. He actually wrote, "You're acting like a stranger. You're better than this." I deleted it without reading the rest. Then came the retaliation. My mom posted a long, passive-aggressive Facebook post about how some people forget who raised them and turn into monsters once they get a paycheck. I was tagged in it. My Aunt Gina, who always hated me for having boundaries, commented, "Disgusting behavior." I'd be ashamed. Except not everyone was on their side. I started getting private messages from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. One cousin told me my parents had borrowed money from her parents a few years back and never paid it back either. Another uncle said he'd gone no contact with them after they tried to get him to co-sign a loan for Kayla's future. My grandfather, my mom's dad, called me personally. He asked me to send him the full invoice. Said he wanted to see something. 3 hours later he messaged me again. All it said was, "You're doing the right thing. Don't stop now." That shook something loose in me. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't cruel. I was just the first one who finally said enough. By the end of the week, my parents had tried every angle: guilt, shame, fake apologies, even an emergency family meeting invite that I never replied to. Kayla DM'd me a long voice note blaming me for her falling behind in school and threatening to sue me if she didn't graduate on time. The next day I sent a second letter, this time from the actual lawyer. Certified mail. Deadline in bold. And just like that, the tone shifted. Suddenly my parents were quiet. Kayla stopped posting. The Facebook smear campaign disappeared overnight. I got a text from my mom that said only, "Can we talk?" Well, we couldn't. Because this wasn't about talking anymore. It was about consequences. The silence lasted 4 days. Which, in my family, is basically an eternity. No calls, no texts, nothing. Felt like they were regrouping. Planning their next move. I already knew what it would be. The same thing it always was: guilt disguised as peacekeeping. Manipulation pretending to be maturity. And right on cue, on the 5th day, my dad called from a different number. I let it ring. Then he left a voicemail. "We're willing to settle this privately. No courts. No embarrassment. Let's talk like adults. Settle." Like this was a business deal and not my entire 20s flushed down the drain for people who would have sold me out for a TV appearance. Julia, my lawyer friend, told me not to respond directly. So I didn't. Instead, she drafted a formal reply on my behalf that outlined my terms. Full repayment of the outstanding debt within 12 months. No contact from Kayla unless through a legal representative. A signed written acknowledgement of financial responsibility for past support. A clause stating they forfeit future assistance from me in any form. I didn't send it to just my parents. I sent it to the entire extended family. I knew what I was doing. I was making sure the story couldn't be rewritten this time. No whisper campaigns. No secret versions of events where I was the ungrateful daughter. I attached the original invoice, the breakdown of payments, and the final legal letter. I sent it to every aunt, uncle, cousin, and grandparent they had ever trash-talked me to. And I didn't write a single word of explanation. Within hours, I had 6 relatives calling to say they had no idea. A few even offered to testify if it came to court. Apparently, my parents had been borrowing and not repaying from more than just me. I wasn't the first. Just the first who pushed back hard enough. Kayla, though, went nuclear. She messaged me from a burner account on Instagram. No apologies. No regret. Just pure venom. Said I was ruining her future, that I was jealous of her success, that I'd always been bitter because mom and dad never loved you like they loved me. That part made me laugh. I screenshotted the messages and forwarded them to Julia. They went straight into the file. That night, my mom sent me a single message. "Please don't destroy this family." I didn't reply. Because it wasn't me who destroyed it. They did. Every time they used me like an ATM. Every time they acted like I was less valuable unless I was giving them something. And it turns out when you take away the money, the love disappears real fast. The next day I got a formal response from a lawyer. Their lawyer. They were offering $40,000. I didn't even blink. Julia replied with a firm no. Full amount or court. There would be no negotiating for scraps after a decade of being treated like a human wallet. And then something I didn't expect happened. My grandfather, the same one who told me to keep going, stepped in. He called my parents and told them he was hiring a forensic accountant. That if they didn't repay me in full, he'd go public with everything he knew. Apparently they'd borrowed money from him too and lied about why. Suddenly their tone changed again. My dad emailed me personally. No caps lock. No accusations. Just a desperate two-liner, "We'll pay. Please don't take this to court." But I wasn't doing this for a payout anymore. I was doing it for the record. The formal agreement was drafted and sent. No more friendly language. No more pretending this was just a family issue. It was a legal document that laid out every detail of the repayment plan. 12 months. Monthly transfers. Interest if they were late. And a clause stating that if they missed 2 payments in a row, full legal action would begin immediately. They signed it. I didn't expect them to, but they did. Probably thought they could still manipulate their way out of it later. They always thought they were smarter than everyone else. But here's what they didn't know. I'd already begun the process of removing them from everything tied to me, permanently. I was still the legal owner of their car titles. The house was still in my name. The deed had never been transferred back because I didn't trust them to pay the taxes. They hadn't noticed, or maybe they just didn't care. But now, with the legal repayment plan active, I had leverage. And I planned to use it. Then something happened that threw me off completely. 3 days after the agreement was signed, I got a call from an unknown number in New York. I almost didn't answer. When I picked up, a woman introduced herself as a law clerk from a probate firm. My heart dropped for a second. She said she was calling about a pending claim on a small estate my grandmother had left behind. My mom's mother, who passed away almost 6 years ago. Back then my mom told me there was no money. Said everything had gone to medical bills and debts. Turns out that was a lie too. My grandmother had left a small trust, nothing huge but enough. Around $40,000. And the documents had recently been reviewed because another relative had come forward challenging the will's handling. The firm was now verifying beneficiaries. I was listed. So was my sister. But here's the kicker. My name had been crossed out. By my mother. They'd forged my signature and removed me from the payout. The law clerk said something about the signature not matching the others on file. She was legally obligated to notify me now that it was being looked into again. That changed everything. I forwarded the documents to Julia immediately. She was silent for a minute before saying, "If this is what it looks like, we're adding fraud to the list." I hadn't even thought about inheritance. I never cared. But now it was proof. They hadn't just used me. They'd actively tried to erase me. Even from my grandmother's final will. And here's what made it worse. The trust? It was accessed 4 years ago. Right around the time my parents suddenly had the money to remodel their kitchen. The marble counters. The new appliances. The hardwood floors. It was never a miracle. It was stolen. From me. I didn't even cry. I felt numb. Not because I was surprised, but because it was so them. So typical. And so concrete. This wasn't just betrayal. This was criminal. Julia immediately added it to our legal case. She also filed a motion to freeze any assets transferred during that period. We contacted the firm in New York and requested full probate files. By the end of that week, the case had grown. It was no longer just about repayment. It was about fraud, inheritance theft, forgery. And once again, my family did what they always did under pressure. They folded and turned on each other. My dad sent me an email claiming he had no idea about the trust. Blamed my mom. Said he was just as shocked as I was. 20 minutes later, my mom emailed me a long wall of text trying to explain how confusing the legal process had been, how she thought I didn't want anything from Grandma, how she did what she thought was best for the family. I didn't respond to either of them. But I forwarded both emails to our lawyer. And then to the probate court. Kayla, of course, stayed silent. Probably hoping no one would notice she was already paid out from the trust and had signed off on it. But we noticed. And so did the firm in New York. Because now there was an open investigation. And for once, my parents couldn't delete it, hide it, or block me to make it go away. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was justice. And it was just getting started. Strange watching people who thought they had power realize they never actually did. That's what it felt like over the next few weeks. Watching them slowly figure out they weren't in control anymore and never really had been. They'd just gotten away with things because no one ever challenged them. Till now. After the inheritance fraud surfaced, everything started unraveling fast. The probate court opened a formal investigation into the trust. I didn't even have to push. The forged signature was enough. The firm in New York moved quickly. They froze the disbursement record. The payout Kayla received? Under review. My mother's role as the executor? Suspended pending legal outcome. Julia sent a new notice to my parents. A demand for immediate restitution of my portion of the trust, plus legal damages for the forgery. He wasn't bluffing. This was the part where they were supposed to go silent, maybe lawyer up. But no. My mom made the worst move she could have made. He went on the offensive. Again. She emailed the entire extended family. A long, dramatic, guilt-soaked letter about how I had turned the family against itself, how I was dragging private matters into the public eye, and how I was using lawyers to punish them for years of sacrifice. She actually wrote, "We raised Bonnie. We gave her everything. And now she's trying to ruin us because we made one mistake." That email backfired immediately. I didn't have to respond. My aunt, the quiet one who never involved herself in drama, replied all with one sentence. "You mean the mistake where you stole her inheritance?" Then it snowballed. Cousins started chiming in. My uncle, who I hadn't seen since his own fallout with them in 2017, said he still had texts from my dad asking for money for a medical emergency that turned out to be a vacation in Maui. They weren't just being exposed. They were being disassembled. I stayed quiet through all of it. I didn't need to say a word. Every response was another confirmation that this wasn't just a one-time betrayal. This was a pattern. A history. I had just finally brought it into the light. And then something I didn't expect happened. My mom showed up at my apartment. She must have waited outside the building until someone else buzzed in. I came back from getting groceries and she was sitting on the steps. No makeup. Red eyes. She looked tired. Older. I didn't say a word. Just stared at her. She stood up like she thought this was going to be some breakthrough moment. Like she was going to cry and I'd fall apart and hug her. The script she'd used my whole life. Then she said, "We're losing the house." That was the one thing I hadn't planned on. Turns out, after I pulled the property tax payments and removed myself from the deed, they fell behind, fast. They hadn't saved. They hadn't planned. They just assumed I'd come back. She wanted me to fix it. Not for her. For Kayla. She actually said, "Your sister doesn't deserve this." I laughed out loud. Couldn't help it. I told her flatly, "You'll be getting a formal eviction notice in 7 days. Because here's the thing. I hadn't just pulled my financial support. I had started the process to reclaim the house. Legally, it was still under my name. They'd never paid a cent toward the mortgage after the bankruptcy. It was mine. I just hadn't taken it until now." She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. He finally understood. I wasn't bluffing. I was done. By the time she left, Julia had already filed the paperwork to reclaim ownership and issue the formal notice to vacate. They had 30 days. 30 days to pack up and go. From the house I saved. The life I built for them. The comfort they stole from me without guilt. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of them. I wasn't guilty. I wasn't unsure. I was free. The eviction went through without a fight. They didn't contest it, didn't show up to court, didn't even try to delay it. Just packed up and left 3 days before the deadline. I didn't drive by. Didn't need to see it. A property manager handled everything. Changed the locks. Cleared out the junk they left behind. A few broken things, nothing major. I sold the house within 3 months. Clean, profitable, done. My mom tried one last time. She emailed me a long, dragging letter about forgiveness, how families should never turn on each other, and how they were willing to make things right. But it was too late. I forwarded it to Julia, then deleted it. The inheritance fraud case moved forward. Probate court reopened the trust. Kayla's payout was frozen and my mom was under formal investigation for falsifying documents. They might face charges. I didn't care anymore. Let the court deal with it. My grandfather stopped asking me to forgive them. I think even he saw what they really were by the end. I never heard from my dad again. Kayla hasn't posted anything since the trust got flagged. Probably laying low, hoping no one else comes for her. A few relatives reached out quietly. Told me they supported what I did. That they'd gone through something similar. That it was about time someone pushed back. I kept the emails but didn't reply to most of them. I wasn't looking for a reunion. Just peace. No. I sleep better. My bank account is mine. My phone is quiet. No more emergencies. No more guilt. They told me I was out of the family. Turns out that was the best thing they ever did for me.